Hi guys, what's up? It's Joe here, back with another video, and in this video it'll be for Love Island All Stars 2026 Series 3 Episode 6. I'll leave a link down below to Episode 5, but before I get onto this video, today is a very special day. It is my 9-year and 4-month anniversary on YouTube. Within this time, I've done a vlog for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I've done a review for Goo Milk Chocolate Mousse. I've done a vlog for New Year's Eve 2025 and New Year's Day 2026. I've done a review for The Secret Menu. I've done a vlog at the Natural History, V&A and the Science Museum. And then, of course, I've been doing my reviews for Love Island All Stars as well. I know I could have done like a special video, but at the same time I couldn't think of any ideas, and probably for the next few weeks or so it's going to be Love Island All Stars, so I guess when I do the next video it'll probably be another All Stars video on the anniversary. I know it's nothing special, I'm sorry about that, but yeah. So yeah, of course there's going to be spoilers in this episode, but without further ado, let's get on with it. So Belle didn't want to look at Sean, I guess, you know, when he was walking past or something. Connor like asked how, you know, Belle was, and then she just said it's giving irritation. Sean and Tommy, you know, were speaking. You know, he's going to stick at, you know, doing what's right, basically, Tommy said. Belle spoke to the others, basically, about Sean. Scott pulled Millie. Charlie and Jess, you know, had a flirty chat. He's saying it's like 60% Millie and 40% Jess. Scott pulled Charlie, basically saying, you know, don't have your cake and eat it. You know, you've got a good girl, don't F it up. Then Charlie went to Millie, basically, I think, telling what Scott said. Scott spoke to Shaq, Tommy, Kieran and Sean about what happened. But then Shaq was just like, you know, stay out of people's business, you know. Don't involve yourself. Leanne and Scott spoke, and then she was like saying, why are you getting involved? Belle and Scott spoke, and then saying, you know, you had to stick your nose in. Why are you doing that? Charlie keeps saying, you know, he wants to kiss Jess. And then Charlie said to Millie, give us a twirl in the bathroom. Shaq was in bed with Belle, Jess, Millie, and I think Sammy as well. And he was like, this is the life, isn't it? Four girls in my bed. Belle was saying it's done between, you know, Sean and her. Sean said, you know, he's trying to go things the right way. You know, he's just going to have options. But she was just like, no. Scott and Leanne kissed in bed. Whitney and Jack kissed. Shaq and Helena kissed. Basically, you know, he said he was on a kissing ban, and all of a sudden he does that. Like, it's a bit rude to AJ, you know, when you said that. I mean, Helena, you know, she's pleased, you know, she's been wanting it, but for AJ, it's just a bit like, you do that and you say, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in his situation there, really. There was no comment from Belle when Kieran asked, you know, how her and Sean were, and then Shaq said Scott's out of chat, you know, he's quiet for a while. Charlie and Scott were arguing. Then Jess and Whitney spoke, basically like Jess went out the room. She hates everyone talking about her situation. She was crying. Scott, Kieran and Jack spoke like separately, and then Charlie, Shaq, Sean and Connor spoke separately. Scott asked about Kieran and Sammy, how they were doing. Helena told Tommy of the kiss that she had in bed. She quite likes him now, really, as well. Shaq spoke to Jack and Kieran of the kiss. Millie and Charlie spoke. You know, Millie was saying she fancies him and she gets giddy. Tommy and Scott spoke. Then they got a text about a recoupling that was going to be happening, and that the boys were going to be choosing. AJ and Sammy will pick first, as they are the newest arrivals. Charlie pulled Jess. They kissed, I think, again as well. Shaq and AJ spoke. Basically, he said, you know, oh, I had a kiss with Helena. Shaq was speaking to Charlie, and then, you know, got the text about, you know, the recoupling, saying, can all islanders gather around the fire pit? So first off, of course, was AJ, and said, you know, this boy's got an instant connection, similar values, he's family orientated, kind, mature, sexy, and she went for Shaq, or as she said, Shaq Attack. I think that's what most people called him in this series, to be honest. Then Sammy coupled up with this boy because, well, you know, it wasn't easy. She gets a belly laugh. She's sort of gravitating towards him. And then Belle was like smiling as well because she picked Kieran, which sort of left Sean in a bit of a situation because, you know, he was sort of wanting to go with Sammy. And then now since he's got nothing like that, it's just like, oh. And she was right, you know, once Sammy's gone, he's just a bit out on his own because, you know, Belle's not going to take him back, and I don't know if anyone else would. But yeah, Scott then coupled up with, of course, Leanne. We knew that was going to happen, really. But it's really foreign that, you know, he said this. It's foreign seeing him being very soppy and smitten like this early on. And it's his favourite time when he's, you know, in bed. Then comes Charlie. Now, he said, I want to couple up with this girl because she's funny, gorgeous, good kisser, and flirtiness. I thought, ooh, you know, he's going to pick Jess. No, he picked Millie. I was like, gosh. And he kissed Jess, like, right before that recoupling text, which I think, I don't think he should have done. But yeah, as well, sorry, before Kieran, you know, was like saying about Scott, like, you know, it's mad seeing him soft. But yeah, there's chats to be had, you know, them two. And I wouldn't want to be in his situation, you know, you're kissing someone else that you like fancy, and then you go recouple it with someone that you haven't kissed, you know, and it's just a bit like explaining that to that person. Sean then was in a situation, well, I guess he sort of had a free will because, you know, he's not going to go back to Belle because that would be a friendship couple, so it was between any of the others. So he said, you know, two girls, amazing qualities. He, you know, he S himself as well, he was like S-ing himself, but he went for Helena in the end. Connor now was in a situation where, you know, he explored Millie, nothing there. But now, since he knows everyone's situation, he was like, you know, I'll go for it. And yeah, that's too right. So he said, you know, it's clear now. This person's made him feel so welcome. And I had no idea before. He went for Whitney. I think them two could get on really well because they did have a chat before. And then now, you know, there's only 2 years apart from them. And, you know, he's dating to marry. And Whitney really liked that as well. Then Jack, you know, bless him. So, of course, he was with Whitney. And now he's, I guess, back to square one. I don't know between, you know, Belle and Jess, like, who he would have gone for. But he went for Belle. You know, he just said, see if there's a connection with her. Just cheer her up as well. Jess was, like, so cute. Then Tommy, of course, is going to be coupled up with Jess. Now, you know, they were really hitting it off at the start. And then it's just sort of gone downhill, I guess, because Jess speaking to Charlie. So, but he said, you know, she's beautiful. Got a great personality. But then he just said communication is important. Like, if you're not having communication, then it's not right. Then everyone spoke like separately. And then the girls were just saying Tommy should not have said that. It felt very rude. Jess said F off. Helena and Jess hugged. AJ said she's excited to share a bed with Shaq. And then Helena just said, oh yeah, he's a good cuddler. Shaq and Charlie spoke, basically, you know, about the Jess kiss. And, you know, he's going to tell Millie. But then Jess, Whitney and Belle spoke. And they, you know, she mentioned the kiss to them. Jess then pulled Millie. Basically, she said, I'm going to remove myself. She cried. And then Belle pulled Charlie. Basically saying, you know, what have you done? Like, you've done something wrong. Belle, you know, cares about Charlie and, you know, doesn't want him to, like, be left alone, I guess. Millie then interrupted the conversation. And then, you know, she's going to continue speaking to him, but there's going to be no kissing, she said. Then there was a vote for the favourite boy and girl, and the results will be revealed later in the week. On the app, Scott calls out Charlie for getting to know two girls at once. What are your thoughts? Most people are thinking, you know, Charlie's having its cake and eating it too, 73%. The rest are thinking no harm in exploring his options. Something tells us Shaq is having quite a pleasant time on All Stars. There's a photo. This is the life, isn't it? You in bed with 4 women? Yes. Shaq's kissing ban is going about as well as my New Year's resolution. There's a photo of him kissing Helena. Leanne innocently hiding from the drama while Scott's on a mad one. There's a photo of that. Which Islander would you confined in when feeling sad? Most people, I think, I can't remember exactly. There was loads. It was only about 27th, the highest. I can't remember who that was. Then there's a photo of Charlie kissing Jess on the terrace. What's AJ's nickname for Shaq? Shaq Attack. There's a question on that. AJ recouples with Shaq. He's kind, he's mature, sexy. Yeah, it was quite an easy decision to make. Sammy chooses Kieran. I can't actually remember the last time a guy has made me belly laugh, and this boy definitely does that. Scott picks Leanne. My favourite time of day is getting to bed with this girl, and it just feels like nothing else matters. Charlie recouples with Millie. She's funny, gorgeous, and she's a really good kisser as well. Sean couples up with Helena. There's 2 girls standing in front of me that have been a big part of my journey so far. Both these girls have amazing qualities. I've got to go with what I'm feeling right now. Connor has chosen Whitney. This girl that I want to pick made me feel so welcome. I just want to like to see where things go. Jack is now coupled up with Belle. Of the 2 girls standing here, this is definitely the girl I could probably see a connection with. I think she's had a rough 24 hours, so kind of hoping maybe I could cheer her up a little bit. Tommy has recoupled with Jess. I do think she's beautiful. She's got a great personality, but I do have my reservations. I'd rather it be deaded off and for me to be single right now than to sort of be parked to one side. That's what really upset the girls. And then everyone else was like, whoa, he's just said that. But I feel it might have been right saying it that there, because if he was saying, oh yeah, she's nice and all this, you know, Jess would play along with that and, you know, it wouldn't feel special. But he's being truthful there and, you know, he doesn't want to be messed around. You know, Tommy is a really good boy and he deserves someone. But if someone's, you know, treating him out as a second option, it's not right. A poll, are things salvageable for Charlie and Millie? Most people, well, it's very close. Only 43% are thinking we need another recoupling quick. And then the others, you know, 24 and 33 between they'll kiss and make up and only with a lot of work. Why is it everyone's in Jess and Millie's business? Tap for Amy, India and Joe's hot take. There's the morning after there. A first look, tensions all rise between Scott and Charlie. The villa is looking rather blue as problems continue between the boys. So we get Blue, the band, coming in. So that should be good. And then there's like some photos of the Love Islanders. A photo dump fit for an all-star. By the way, that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.